We are going. Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hi,
Abby.
everyone.
We
Hi,
are
Sophie.
live. And you have your phone in case somebody wants to ask a
I
question.
do. Yes, I have my phone right here. I'm really excited about today's conversation because I have my own questions about this topic.
All right. So why don't you state? So we're talking everybody about intuition, right? Why is it important to practice listening to your intuition? What does it offer you way beyond life, right? So state your problem and we're going to use you as a guinea pig.
Great. It's a gift to be able to have this time of coaching. Okay, everyone. So here's what's happening in my world. So my wife is, we're doing an unconventional conscious choice, and we're going to live in two separate places for a little while to support each other's souls, to support each other's soul growth. And my wife is going back to Hawaii, where we used to live. And I am staying on the mainland. So I was really, really clear for a couple of months about going back to Ithaca, which is a place that I used to live in New York. And then I started to get the experience of wavering, which does happen to me. And like this experience of maybe it would be better for me to stay in this region, do some more exploring, do some things I haven't done while I live here.
But what you should be saying is that your entire patterns is that you lose your grounding every time you have to move, either move physically or move, mind you, move ontologically, you could better, right? But every time there is a move physically or a shift, it reactivates all your survival mechanism. Right?
It really does. And the piece that I want to also add, because is I also get my ego is very the people pleaser, the helper. My ego is very attached to what other people are doing and thinking and how I'm a part of their community or that relationship. So I get reactivated and afraid of having to deal with that inside of myself. So that's the context of what's going on for me. And my question for you, Sophie, is that I'm really having trouble listening to what my intuition, what my soul is telling me to do. I get lost between the thinking and the intuition, and I don't know. So can you please give me some guidance?
Well, the first thing is why we decided to have this conversation is that Abby came on the call with me, and then she said to me, it will be really good for me to be by myself because I'm such a people pleaser and I'm such a helper that it's time I'm on my own and away from a community so I can find myself, right? And I'm listening to that. Now, if you knew Abby, you would know that for 7 years, she's been away from her community, right? So actually, she even been suffering from not having a community. So she's telling me that with an absolute straight face, and she believed what she said, okay? That, by the way, is the advantage of having a friend that is trained and in the same kind of mind than you are.
Yes.
So I just pointed it out. So the first thing to know when it's not your intuition is that you use your logic, your mind, your reasoning, your justification. You're trying to find the solution. You try to be rational. All that's not intuition, right? This is your logical system of dealing with what occurs to you as real. And unfortunately, if you believe all those to be true, you get into denial. You were able to tell me that it's good for you to be away from your community, and you believed it.
Yes.
Right. So that's the first thing: logic, strategies, explanation, rational, pragmatic. It's not intuition, right?
Mm.
So intuition, Abby, is the best practice to master awareness, right? So you know that awareness is the ultimate power, right? So being aware, everybody, I remind you, stop and look. Really look without thought, without opinion, evaluation, judgment. You just look at what is. You are committed to create a powerful relationship to reality. Okay. So why is intuition the best practice for awareness? Because with intuition, you have to stop, right? Because you have to listen. And what do you have to listen beside the noise of your mind and your survival. So
Right.
you need to go to silence. So you have to push on the side every thought, rationalization, strategy, logic, doubt, evaluation, all those
Fine.
needs to be pushed aside.
What about feelings in the body? Is that
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you put it all on the side. You don't have to let it go. You just put it all on the side
Okay.
until you have a space. And in that space, you just listen. So you'll hear something and then you'll start doubting it, right? So
Mm,
do it with us, Abby. Just close your eyes, push
okay.
everything and put it in a really nice box, everything with a nice ribbon around it.
Okay.
You tell me when you've done the box. And everybody listening to that call, you should do the same if you're trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
make a choice. Any thought that come, you put it in the box, 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 and then you quickly tie the ribbon.
Okay.
All right? All right, in that space of nothingness, stay or go. You can't think.
Gosh, it comes so fast. Okay, wait, hold on. Wait, I'm gonna do it again. Hold on. Okay, putting things in boxes.
Just get back to your essence, connect to your
Okay,
soul,
got
ask
my
for
essence.
guidance.
Okay.
What does your soul want you to know? Ask yourself the question, ask your soul the question. What do you want me to know about my move?
Okay, I have like a sliver of space and I
Well,
can,
yeah. What did you get? Because we can't, have people wait for 10 minutes. But
I know.
what
Yes.
did you get?
Well, what arose immediately, which is, I don't even, is like, it doesn't really matter. Like which isn't helpful for me, but it's like, it doesn't matter what you choose because I've got it was kind of the energy, I've got you.
Mm. All right, good. Well, already that's a message, right? So now the moment you get, right? The moment you say, okay, did I make that up? Did my mind come back? Is that true that my soul told me that? Right? You're going to start just, I call it intellectually masturbating. Okay?
Yes.
So you go back in that
Awesome.
space and back in that space and back in that space. And then you listen to your experience. Okay, so when you got whatever you choose is fine because I got you. Did you feel a release?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, that you can trust.
That I can trust. Yeah.
Okay, it's very simple. You can always trust what inspires you. Inspires you, it elevates you, it makes you light, right? That you can trust. You can trust what touches you and what moves you.
Mm.
That you can always trust. So until you get either inspired or touched or moved, you don't make a choice. You try it out. Okay, how would I feel? Would I feel any of those three things if I moved there? or if I stayed here, or if I moved there. And you listen, you cannot be in a hurry, but all you need to know is that you need to learn to detach from your mind, to have access to your intuition. Okay? So you see, that's a very good practice for awareness. And you want to know every single time you think you had an intuition, you're going to doubt it. Because your intuition comes from your soul or your guides, and it's always delightful.
Mm.
You know, I never heard of someone that had their soul message saying, "You're a jerk."
That's very true. I've never heard my soul say
that.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
All
Yeah.
right. So then the other thing why it's very good to practice awareness and intuition, everybody, is that I believe that your death is the same than your life.
Mm.
So my experience of death, and I did experience my death. I'm not going to tell the story, but I did have the privilege to experience my death. And the experience was just taking a step.
Mm.
Literally, it was just a step. One step I was alive, one step I was dead. It was so easy, right? And what I discovered is after what we call death, which is not really death because we were never born, as the soul is forever, you will be the same on after that step as you were in life.
Mm.
Because you always reap what you sow. You are the originator of it all. You are the creator of it all, right? So it is important to do the work of awareness and spend your priority in your life should be to develop awareness, because you will prepare eternity.
Oh, that's really beautiful. I felt as you were sharing that, I saw how this pattern of contracting around movement would make death very difficult. I will resist death if I'm resisting moving in life.
Yes, darling. And for you, it's your life issue, right? Because you know the whole, intellectually that the whole universe is in constant motion.
Yeah.
The universe arises as a function of change. There is nothing that stays still. So awareness allows you to see the illusion of control, of certainty, of trying to be safe by controlling and keeping things still. It's literally going against the universe.
Yeah, I really see that. And I see how and I'm saying this only for those that are listening, if you have similar patterns, the more that I learn about this pattern inside of me, this resistance to motion or movement, the more I see that it keeps me going in a little circle. It's like big forward motions don't happen a lot. I have to remove a lot of barriers for that to happen. And it's like you say, Sophie, like those patterns of our ego, they're quite boring. Like, it's like you just, when you're toiling in that circle and you're not doing the forward motion, there's a big cost to that.
Well, what about instead of saying motion, why don't you just use that word that everybody used, change? What if you could say to yourself, okay, I don't like change.
Okay, I don't like change.
Somebody at my door, so I think we should complete the call before they go away, or shall I run to it?
You can run.
You have the call? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go for it, Sophie. Hi, everyone. It's just me now. I'm curious if other people have this experience, because it can happen, I think, in a lot of arenas. It's not just Mine tends to be outwardly about life, moving through, making big changes in life, but it can be as minute as changing daily habits. I'm learning that now too. I think awareness allows us to pull these big concepts into even the most minute moments of our lives. So right now I'm in the practice of being comfortable with change in the tiny moments. And when I bring my awareness to those tiny moments in life, I can be present with what changes moment to moment. Okay, I was just sharing, Sophie, that I'm practicing even just in the minute moments of life, how it feels to have things change and just to be comfortable with that.
Okay, good. And to finish with intuition, were you finished?
Yes. Yeah, I am. No, I'm finished. Yes, go ahead.
I live in a small place, but I ran to the door. Intuition makes life really, really exquisite
Oh.
because you're not alone, right? And in the quantum world, right, in the world of the spirit and the souls and however you imagine it, everything has already happened. So if you use intuition, it's like downloading something that is already is, and you'll get an extraordinary power to create your life. So intuition is a marvelous thing to cultivate because it does put you in both worlds and gives you another access to the Akashic world, right? The world of spirit.
Wow.
And the loneliness disappears and you feel actually safer. If you want to feel safer being alive in this material world, you need to connect to the spiritual world.
I love that.
Yeah. All right, do you want to see if there is any questions or comments?
Oh, we have Dima and Marine. It's so good to see you both. Thank you for being here. I saw you as soon as I saw your names. Not questions, just sweet presence. So thank you.
Right.
Thank you for being here.
All right, Abby, come on, practice. And remember, when those moments happen where you are a bit in a roller coaster, you're being tested.
I am in the washing machine of tests right now.
All right, everybody, we love your comments, your likes.
We do.
And we'll see
we
you.
do have a question.
Oh, when?
Yes, Dima. I have the same question. Dima says, how can one distinguish between intuitions and the voice? Dima, do you mean like your internal voice or like your thinking
I think
voice?
she means what we said at the beginning of the call. Dima,
Okay.
you must come a bit after the beginning of the call, but we said it, how to access intuition, and that you have to put the voice, the little voice in your head on the side. Just listen to the beginning of the call. But thank you for playing and for your question.
Yeah, thank you, Dima.
All right, everybody, we'll see you next week. And if you want us to talk about something specific, don't hesitate to ask us.
Absolutely.
And this topic, we love your contribution.
Absolutely.
Bye, everybody.
Everyone.